Hey, I'm Sheila Shamay, and today I'm gonna do a makeup look or tutorial. It'll be tutorial because I'm gonna talk through it. So yeah, you guys, so that's what I'm gonna do, and so let's go ahead and begin. All right. I might skip this part or whatnot. Basically, I'm gonna tell you what I will be doing. I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Hydra Renewal moisturizer, simply because my skin has been producing a good bit of oils. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use this baby skin instant pore eraser as well, and I'm going to use the this perfecting primer here. Alright, I'm going to use this, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply my clear mascara to my eyebrows, and then I will be ready for foundation. Okay, alright, you guys, what I decided to do instead of doing a makeup tutorial, I'm gonna break this down into two videos. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do this first impression on this foundation here, and it is the Rimmel London Match Perfection Pore Blurring Effect 24-hour moisture foundation here. This looks new because it just looks new. I figure it's new because I haven't seen the blue top. I know that they have the True Match, I think, by Rimmel, but this one I think is a new one. Okay, it is new to me. May not be new to someone else, but it is new. So I'm going to do a first impression on this video, and with first impressions, you know how I normally like to do it. I like to add a primer on one side of my face, and then on the other side I don't like to use a primer, and I will do the same with this baby skin instant pore eraser. I will put this on one side of my face, and the other side will not use it. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, you guys, we're gonna do a first impression video. The perfecting primer here, I'm going to use this on my, I guess my right side of my face. I'll use a little bit of it. I'm going to apply this over here on this side, on my right side. To you, it would be my left side. Alright, so just apply this on certain areas. Just on this side of my face. Alright. Alright, so on the other side, I'm going to leave this side. Okay. So on this side, I will not use the primer. I'm going to apply this Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser on my right side as well. Just going to add a little bit just where I need it. Mainly it's just on the nose and on top of my cheeks here. It's right up in here. Just like that. And even up here on my forehead a little bit. Center of my forehead. Alright. Just about right there. In those areas. Ooh, almost dropped the lid. Alright, so now we can begin with the foundation. Okay, alright, so what I'm going to do is on one side I will use I always kind of like to use a beauty blender or a beauty sponge of some sort on one side, and then use a brush on the other side. However, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to use a foundation brush as well on my forehead area. And then on my cheek area, on the rest of my face, as far as not my forehead, but on the other areas of my face, I'm going to use a sponge on one side and a brush on the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the brush on the primer side, and then on this side I'm going to use a beauty sponge because it has nothing on this side, so I want to see how it looks just using a pure beauty sponge on this side. And how will it look if I have a primer and a brush, cosmetic or makeup brush, all that stuff on one side, and see how it looks at the end. And also with the foundation brush, how it looks up here on the forehead area. Okay, alright, so we're gonna be doing a good bit of things, but I want to test this foundation out because I've bought this foundation before, but like I said, this is a new formula. It's the Rimmel Match Perfection 24-hour moisture pore blurring effect. So this is new to me, and I got mine in the shade Golden Honey. Hopefully I got the right shade. I don't know, maybe I did, we'll see. So yeah, you guys, let's go ahead and begin. Now on this side, I'll start, like I said, with a brush. Okay, and let me go ahead. I can't get it together. Okay, alright, so let me get a brush of some sort. I guess I use my favorite, which is Real Techniques buffing brush. Love these brushes. Okay, awesome. Alright, so I'm going to pour a little bit of this foundation on the back of my hand here. Alright, I wish it came with a pump. It doesn't come with the pump, but that's okay. That's how much I have on the back of my hand. That's what I'm going to start with. And so I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this on my forehead, on this side of my forehead, which is the right side first. And I believe this is going to match. Okay, yes, I think I did good. Alright, so I'm going to use the foundation brush on this side. Ooh, it has some great coverage, you guys. Immediately I noticed coverage. It's even covering up the hair up there where I said my hair is growing on my forehead from the Purador. It's covering up all of that area up in there. And yeah, it's gliding on with the primer, of course. So that's the forehead right there with this foundation brush on this side. Now I'm going to move on down to the rest of the area on my face. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the foundation brush and kind of dab on the product where I want it. And I'm going to do my eyes because you know my eyes is discolorated. And I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. Alright, so you can see. Alright, so my as you can tell, my eyelids is discolorated, or I have dark eyelids. So I just applied the product onto my eyelids. So now I'm going to buff that foundation out on this side and take a look at. Okay, that was a good bit of amount, and I do notice a difference. Hopefully you can see. Y'all, my lighting is just, I've got to get it right. But I'm going to add just a little bit more. That's just like, you saw that one dab. I'm going to put just a little bit more on there and then blend it out or buff it out. And yeah, you guys, it covers really well. It's covering up the discoloration. As I can tell that on this side, my eyelids is not as pigmented on this side. Hopefully you can see this. Let's go up a little closer. On this side, you can tell that my eyelids have been, you can tell foundation is there, and it's this foundation has covered up my discolorated eyelids. On this side, you can still see the redness, the orange tone and all that on this side from this dark pigmentation problems on my eyelids. So this is how this eye looks. This is how this one is looking. So yeah, it has some coverage. Okay, let me zoom you back out just a little bit. Uh-oh, went the wrong way. I think that's pretty good right there. Alright, so let's go on down to the cheek area. Alright, because I have a good bit of moles on this side, and even up here in the corner of my eye area and underneath my eyes here. You know I have dark circles, so I'm just going to apply this right here. And I put a good bit on. It's very smooth, of course, using the primer. It glides on with the primer. And I feel like this is a really good moisturizing foundation with great coverage. Because I've said in the past that, or I've said it many times, that a lot of times I will use a mattifying foundation simply because it has more coverage, in my opinion. Foundations that are mattifying or made for oily skin. Now this foundation says it is a moisture pore blurring, so it's supposed to blur out my pores. Okay, so yeah, you guys, so this has got a lot of moisture, so I guess it's supposed to be for dry skin. And as I put it on, it does feel really nice on my skin. And it does cover discolorated areas. I can still see a few of my moles though, but it's not like this side. Like you see this side here, you can see my discoloration and my moles and all this, my eyelids and underneath my eyes, the dark pigmentation there and dark circles, whatnot, my problem areas on this side. But if you look at this side, you see that it's pretty much, there's foundation there and some areas and things have been covered. Okay, I see it. Okay, some has been covered. Because I use that baby skin, the pore eraser, my pores look okay on this side. Okay, they look okay, but this side is going to tell me whether or not this foundation really do good with the pore blurring or whatnot. But my skin do look like really smooth, so I'm going to go ahead and do the area underneath my nose and on my chin. So I'm just going to add some product to my brush and just, yeah, go over the area. Let's see. Too close. Alright. Alright, you guys. It glides on. It feels like a lotion. It's very moisturizing as I apply it. So it feels good to the skin. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do the area underneath my, like right underneath my chin. I always put foundation like right down here. I don't go under on my neck unless it's just necessary, okay? But it's very smooth, okay, on this side. However, I did put primer on, so yeah. Good. Okay, so now I'm gonna apply the foundation on this side of my cheek with the this complexion sponge by Real Techniques. So I'm gonna apply this product to my cheek area and see how it works. You know, on this side I did not apply anything except for moisturizer. So I'm going to use the foundation brush, and this is a different one, as you can see. and apply this onto my face on this side, and then blend it out with the beauty sponge here. I must admit, as I'm putting it on, because the foundation is thick and it has a thick consistency, I feel like when you use the beauty sponge, I feel like it feels better on the skin because it's actually helping to kind of thin the foundation, because you're mixing it with a wet beauty sponge and you're blending it out, so it feels better on the skin. It doesn't feel as heavy as it does if you use a brush. Okay, that is what I'm trying to say. And as far as coverage, you still have coverage, and to be honest with you, the way I see it is that there's not much of a difference, to be honest with you, and that's kind of strange. Usually when you use a brush, you get more coverage, and then usually with the beauty sponge, you get more of a natural type of, but you can get a full coverage look using a sponge too, depending on the foundation. So I have to say, it doesn't really matter whether or not you use a brush or a beauty sponge. Both sides of my face, just looking at my cheek area down, it looks the same. I mean, there is some areas that I can still see my moles a little bit. However, I only put one layer of foundation on. I know that I can build this foundation up to full coverage, but I feel like it doesn't matter what you use, whether you use a brush or a beauty sponge. You can get a good bit of coverage either way. So I'm going to apply the foundation on down here underneath my chin, where I don't have no extra product, no primer. Just apply it down there, right here. And we're going to move on to the eyes. Now when I get to my forehead, I'm going to use a dry beauty sponge and see how that will look. Will it look more full coverage or what? With the sponge being dry. I'm going to go right here on the side of my temples here. Just right out here in my eye area. Right here. And another thing that I noticed, you guys, is that I feel like with this foundation being such a thick foundation, I feel like you don't even need concealer, because it covers the dark circles, or if you have dark circles like I do, or dark pigmentation on your skin, it covers it really, really good. You don't really need a concealer with this foundation. Alright, that's how it looks on this side with the beauty sponge being moist. I'll pull you in so you can see. That's how my face looked with the beauty sponge on this side. That's how it looks. My eyes have been totally covered with foundation with the beauty sponge, and the discoloration is gone. Even on my chin, like I said, on my cheek, you can still see some of my freckles. Well, mainly my moles, not so much of my freckles. You can still see a few of my freckles. You can still see a few of my moles more than my freckles, but you can still tell that there is coverage. This is the side with the beauty sponge, and this is the side with the brush. There's not much of a difference, okay, as you see here. Like, the coverage is still about the same. Alright, however, it's only one layer. So up here on my forehead on this side here, let me zoom you back out. Okay, on this side of my forehead, which is the left side, I'm going to use a dry beauty sponge, okay, and see how it looks if I use this foundation with a beauty sponge that is completely dry. Okay, let's see how it looks. Alright, this is dry, okay? It's completely dry. There's no water in this sponge. It's dry. So I'm going to dab this on and see how it looks with a dry beauty sponge. Okay, you guys. What I noticed is you will get more coverage with a dry beauty sponge over a brush from what I see, okay? So if you want like a really good full coverage foundation look using this Rimmel Match Perfection Pore Blurring Effect 24-hour moisture foundation, if you want a more full coverage look, use a dry beauty sponge, okay, or a beauty blender, whatever kind you like. Like I said, this is the Real Techniques beauty sponge, and this is one of my favorite. So if you look at my forehead on this side, I have more coverage than any other area on my face. Okay, I see it, okay? This side of my face right here on my forehead area is like really blurred. And when I say blurred, like it says a pore blurring effect, like I hardly even see some of my little scars where I've had little breakouts or whatnot on this side. I don't see it as much as I do over here. I can still see little where I've had a little bit of breaking out on my cheeks and stuff. It doesn't pop out as much, but I can tell that a dry sponge like this, you will get more of a full coverage makeup look if you use a dry sponge, okay? A dry beauty sponge. That's even over a brush. Now that's for me, okay? That's what I noticed. I can't say that that will be the issue with somebody else. Somebody else might say no, it's better with a brush. But on my skin and what this product does for me, I tried it those 3 ways, which is with a foundation brush, with a moist a moist or a wet beauty sponge, and a buffing brush, okay? From what I see overall, I feel like a dry beauty sponge will give a more complete, full coverage foundation look using this Match Perfection foundation right here, okay? This by Rimmel, okay? I really do feel like that is the way it is. Now, if you want a more light feeling type of foundation look, you don't want nothing heavy, use a moist beauty sponge, because it's going to thin out the product, because this product is thick, okay? It's like a thick, it has like a thick consistency, because it doesn't even hardly roll much. Like I've been putting the product on the back of my hand and it doesn't even roll much. So if you wet your sponge or your brush, whatever you like to do, it's going to thin out the consistency of the foundation. Now if you use a foundation brush over here, of course you're going to get more coverage than you would a brush, in my opinion, because you just dabbing the product on. But still, a dry sponge is better. I feel like you can get more coverage. So what I feel about this foundation, I love it already. One, it's moisturizing. I have dry skin, so I don't mind having foundations that are moisturizing and even have a luminous finish, okay? The second thing is I like about this foundation is it doesn't take a whole lot of product. It is a thick consistency. The product is very thick, so you don't have to apply so much of the product. The other thing about it is that you can use this product with a foundation brush, a beauty sponge, a buffing brush, kabuki brush, even your fingers, and I feel like you can get a good coverage. You can get medium to full coverage. I do feel like using a dry sponge or a foundation brush is the best for a full coverage look using this foundation. About the pore blurring effect, I've been having a few issues with my pores looking enlarged around my nose, on top of my cheeks. Now, a lot of times I don't see that until I put on my bronzer and my highlight. Then I really can tell it if my pores look enlarged. But just by looking at my foundation right now, without anything else on my skin, I do not see as much enlarged pores like right here on top of my nose. I don't see much. I do see a few of my little pimples or whatnot that has, you know, just like how sometimes we have like little bitty pimples that are trying to develop or whatnot. I can still see that a little bit. However, a layer, okay, I only use one layer of foundation. Now, personally, if I wanted to, I could go in with another layer, and most likely I will, because I would like to have a full coverage foundation look. So if I was going to do that, I would use my sponge completely dry to get a full coverage foundation look. And I will even show it on this side of the face real quick. But you see what I feel about it. I do think this is a great foundation. It was only like $3.57, so it's very reasonable. So yeah, I really like it. So with the dry sponge, I'm gonna add some over here on this side with it dry, and just go back over my face one more time with the sponge dry. And even on top of my eyelids, I'll go back over it. And yeah, I'm noticing a more coverage on those areas where I see little breakouts. I can tell that pretty much it's kind of like blurring out those little bitty spots just a little bit. I wouldn't say a tremendous change, but I do see a difference overall. But you do not need concealer, because you know why? I'm telling you right now, this product will cake up on you if you use a lot. I'm noticing that because I just went over my eyelids again, and I put a good bit of product on my eyelids, and I can tell you right now that you don't need to over apply and reapply. This foundation will cake up on you, okay? I'm telling you right now, if you put too much, it's going to cake up. And like I said, really, you don't need concealer with this foundation. My areas underneath my eyes is concealed. Even my eyelids is concealed. So this is one of those products that, hey, this will be great for those mornings like you got to get up and you got to go, or you in a rush, or either you got to get ready for your date, or you're having a girls' night out and you want to get ready quick, or just if you want a good coverage foundation that is very reasonable and has a thick consistency to cover a good bit of imperfections, this would be one you might want to try. It does help the pores a little bit, especially on my nose. Like my nose area is the worst, and I noticed that my nose area looked the smoothest. Now up here on my cheeks, I have a few, like I said, some of those, you know how you can have pimples developing but they're underneath the skin, they're very small. I kind of have that, not a whole bunch of them, but I have maybe 2 or 3 on this side where I can still see. But to be honest with you, this foundation completely covers that. No one would see that unless they're right up in your face. And we have imperfections, okay? Nobody's perfect, okay? So I would say that this foundation is really good. So far, I don't see that the foundation is getting into my lines or anything, because right around here I can sometimes foundation can get into my my mouth lines. I don't have many, but I do laugh a lot or smile a lot. Sometimes that happens, but usually if I dab the area where I place the foundation, it kind of just smooths it out. So yeah, you guys, that's about it. That's all I can say about it. I have to say this right here is that I'm happy that they do have more shades. I want to say that a lot of times with Rimmel foundations, at least in my area, I cannot find a shade to match my skin tone. So that's a good thing, that they have more shade range in this particular foundation. I'm happy that Rimmel did that, okay? Because I do like Rimmel London Cosmetics. It's just most of the time I cannot get their foundations. I cannot find a foundation in that brand. So this one I was able to find a shade, and so I do like that about it. But once again, like I said, do not add a lot of product on your face. This product will cake up on you. I noticed that on my eyelids because I reapplied more product with that dry sponge, beauty sponge, and I could tell my eyelids look a little bit cakey. So yeah, you have to be careful on how much product you use. But overall, you guys, this is a good product. I do like it. I'm happy that I have this product. And so yeah, it's not bad at all. So this is the foundation first impression on the Rimmel Match Perfection 24-hour moisture pore blurring effect. And it has a broad spectrum SPF of 20, okay? So it looks like this. Hopefully you can see it. It looks like that. So yeah, you guys, I like it. It's good. Yeah, I would recommend this foundation. It's very reasonable. And like I said, as it dries, I feel like there's more coverage. You get more coverage as it dries. It goes on moist and wet, but as it dries on the skin, you get the coverage, okay? And I feel like if you're oily, you're gonna need a setting powder, maybe in certain areas. But if you're not, if you do not have oily skin, I feel like with dry skin, you could go ahead and not use a powder. However, it is a little bit tacky on my skin, but usually that will go away after I apply my makeup. Usually that feeling goes away. But if it doesn't, if you happen to have dry skin and you use this foundation and that tacky, sticky feeling doesn't go away, then try a translucent or setting powder or something kind of light, because this do give a good bit of coverage, okay? So try something like that to go over the face if you see that sticky, tacky feeling doesn't go away. But so far, you guys, I like it, and I will be using this without a pressed powder. I just want to see how it will work. I don't know how many hours the coverage will last. This is just a first impression. I will have to come back with a video as far as a review and let you know more about that, or I will simply just put this, or I'll just put what this foundation does for me as soon as I get to upload the video, or like I said, make a video later and just tell you what it done after so many hours or whatnot. But so far so good. This is my first impression, and I do like this Rimmel Match Perfection 24-hour moisture pore blurring effect foundation, okay? So far so good. It says this is a sunscreen foundation, invisible coverage, visibly perfected skin, okay? That's what it claims to do. On the bottle it says that, so hopefully you can see that. If you can't, I'm sorry if you cannot see that. But I do like how as it dries, I see my face just getting more and more coverage, okay? It does that. I see it, okay? Alright, you guys, I'm going to let you go. So this is my first impression. I hope you like this first impression on this foundation by Rimmel. And so, yeah, you guys, I'm going to let you go. So you all have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening. And you know I love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.